Let's set up. Hey guys, Mary Castner here. I'm so pumped. Today, we're going to address the question of how do I structure my worship? I'm gonna give you a model of praise and worship called the temple model. This is a game changer. It's basically a structure and a model for worship. Really helped me as a worship leader and blew my mind. So it's super easy. You can structure a 30-minute praise and worship set based off of this. This model is based on two things that run in line with each other. One, the structure of Solomon's temple, and two, the 3 stages of the spiritual life. To communicate it to you, I'm going to have to draw it. So just hop along. Here we go. All right, here we go. So guys, in order to understand the temple model, I'm gonna draw for you what Solomon's temple actually looked like so you can see the 4 main parts of it that we base this structure of worship off of. So basically there were 4 main parts to Solomon's temple. The first part was called the outer courts. Pretty self-explanatory. It's the outermost part of the temple. It's the first part that you would enter. And the second court is what we would call the inner courts. Pretty self-explanatory as well. Then as you move deeper into the temple, there was a place called the holy place. Now, the holy place was reserved for priests only. And within the holy place was the final part of the temple, behind a veil, called the Holy of Holies. This place was where they kept the Ark of the Covenant, and this was also where the presence of God was said to dwell. So this is basically our analogy to worship leading. Our goal is the presence of God at the center. Congrats guys, so you've made it this far, and now we're gonna move into the 3 stages of the spiritual life, and we're gonna connect each stage to a part of the temple and the songs that you would pick in that part of your set of worship. So, the first stage is called the purgative stage, and this is the stage of the spiritual life that we start off with, and it deals with the flesh. So this is associated with the outer courts in worship, and this is where you're going to begin. So the outer courts are the beginning of worship. This is when you're entering into the temple. This is when you're entering into your prayer. So what's going to happen is you're going to pick songs of praise. It says in scripture to enter his courts with praise and thanksgiving. And so that's what we do in the outer courts. We pick songs that are upbeat, get people moving, engage the flesh, and break people out of themselves. This is the place for that. So these are songs like In the River or an upbeat How Great Thou Art. So the next stage is what we call the illuminative stage of the spiritual life. So this is where we're seeking knowledge of God. We want to know him more, and this is associated with the inner courts. So you're even closer to the Holy of Holies, and this engages the mind more. So what you're going to want to do is pick songs that are a little bit slower than the outer courts and are rich lyrically, rich in basically meditating upon the mysteries of God. Okay, so now we've made it to the final stage of the spiritual life called the unitive stage. Congratulations, guys. So this is the stage associated with the final 2 parts of the temple, starting with the holy place. Now, this is the stage that deals with the heart. So the songs that you're going to pick for this part of your set are going to be very, very simple, very repetitive, very slow. And this is a great place to drop instruments and go a cappella. And finally, now you've made it to the last place in the temple, our goal, the Holy of Holies, the presence of God. And this is where we move into silence. So your job becomes easy. You usher everyone into this time of listening to God in the quiet. This is the destination that you're going to in the temple model. Is where heart speaks to heart. So just to recap, guys, and make this even simpler, if you imagined worship as a plane and the worship leader as the pilot, a lot of times worship leaders don't know quite where they're leading everyone, where they're flying the plane. And what's awesome about the temple model is it gives you a landing strip. It tells you where you're going, which the goal is the silence. It's actually silent contemplative prayer and sitting in the presence of God. So in the Catechism, it says vocal prayer becomes an initial form of contemplative prayer. So we can apply that to praise and worship. So vocal prayer ultimately should lead to a place that the goal is this place of silence and contemplation. He is the most important thing, not us just sharing everything that we want. We also want to listen. We want to have a relationship with him. This model follows that understanding of spirituality and prayer, where it's all about his presence. It's all about him. So it's super easy. You can structure a 30-minute praise and worship set based off of this. So you just do 3 or 4 songs moving through the courts, and you can have more than one song per court, but you just follow that progression, leading the whole assembly into that silence. And it is so beautiful and it's so effective, and people profoundly experience the presence and the peace of God. It really has profoundly impacted the way that I pray personally and corporately. And it's only deepened my relationship with the Lord. So I hope that this was a big help to you, and I just want to encourage you to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all of the things. So thanks for watching, friends. Y'all are awesome, and yeah, have a blessed day.